For many years, the cultures around the world had existed, but there are some of them that had a strong impact in the way we see the world and how we live our lives nowadays. Now, let's see what cultures influenced the most in the past from now. In first place, we have Babylonia. Even though it might not be considered a country today, Babylonia is famous today for its spectacular technological wonders. Indeed, this country was the birthplace of modern mathematics and astronomy. Many famous geniuses and scientists originating from there. Rome influenced Europe and the world much more than we can imagine and is probably the country that has the most influence our world history, from the spread of Christianity to the Latin War. French, Italian, and Spanish owe their beautiful languages to Rome. We also have architecture, languages, and political systems. Thanks to them, we have houses, aqueducts, and many other architectural things that are very important nowadays. If we talk about cultures that really influence our world nowadays, we have to talk about China. China had been the strongest nation on earth some centuries ago. Its culture is the only one of the fourth great ancient nations to last to today, and I mean Egyptian, Indian, Babylon, and Chinese. From China, we have really great inventions like compass, silk, block type printing, one of the first cities for agriculture. We have the powder, paper, and cast iron, also the beautiful fireworks that we see nowadays. We have Egypt in last place, from the ancient nations that influence our culture nowadays. From then, we have mathematics, alphabets, paper and writing, and they also recorded the medicine that they used. They used to practice surgeries, they invented the door locks, also the toothpaste, that's a very curious fact, and they also discovered the glass. Nowadays, there are many cultures that influence our world nowadays. For example, we have India in first place. There's not too much to talk about the culture, the people, or the techniques they used to live, but we can talk about their mathematics. They did really good progress in how we count nowadays. Also, our Albert Einstein said, "We owe a lot to the Indians, who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made." From India, also we have architecture, art, theater speech, literature, and government techniques. Then we have Germany. The exportation is in large part due to top-notch education and high-skilled labor with good wages, with one of the world's most sophisticated and elaborate infrastructure system. In addition, it has a long, sometimes very troubled history that has produced world-class thinkers and poets. Germany has a really long history where we can see their acts in World War II, but perhaps we have really great discoveries. From Germany, there had been really brilliant people that really influence in the educational system that we have nowadays. They also have a strong influence in mathematics, physics, and science. We have to talk also about Italy. We all know Italy for their art, and that's one of the most relevant things from that culture. But the influence that Italy had on the Western culture is unquestionable, and this can be noticed even by looking at some details of our customs, such as eating with a fork and a knife. From Shakespeare to Mozart, Westerns always got inspired by Italian culture. Anyway, one can immediately understand the influence it had on the whole world if he thinks about a couple of other things, like how many languages nowadays use Latin script or have words with Latin roots. I think it will be kind of weird that we have USA in our video about the 10 most influential cultures in the world, but we have to say that the USA has influenced our world really, really bad. We have the American dream, The American lifestyle, USA is extremely influential in our world today, with many successful brands like McDonald's, Burger King, Apple, etc. Probably the most powerful country in history and extremely influential. They have a really strong military power that we saw in the World War I and the World War II. There are many things that we don't see from USA, but that are very important to rescue and talk about so we can understand how our world moves nowadays. From France, we can rescue the invention of the metric system, invention of the cinema, world-class cuisine, French language, spoken in 40 countries, mainly in Europe, Africa, and North America. They also have a really important relevance in the art, especially in the sculptures.